biggest thing that I struggled with then is just like believing in myself that like,
Mhm.
and I think for me, like academically, school was challenging. It was hard to get like C's and B's. And I
Yeah.
feel like I had to work really hard and I saw people barely doing anything to be on the A on roll. And so then you kind of, I think that, like our society or the school system might tell you like, you're not as smart.
Right.
But man, what I think I would really tell you is like effort is worth $1 million.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Passive Road to Retirement podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Jarrett. Today, we're joined by Daniel Felt. Daniel, the owner of Kura Home, grew up in a rural hobby farm. Growing up in a family business, he saw his parents grow a successful business with a simple motto: 100% of the truth, 100% of the time. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andrew. Great to be here.
Great. So maybe for the listeners, you could just kind of give us a little background about what Cura Homes is and how you developed the company.
Yeah, for sure. Kura Home, we offer two main services. One is a routine maintenance subscription. So currently we have about 750 homes that we visit once every 3 months and just take care of everything that you should be doing as a perfect homeowner. But we all know a lot of us neglect to take care of, and sometimes myself included, unfortunately, the plumber's pipes leak, as they say. And the other 50% of our business is air duct cleaning. And Cure Home was started in 2016 out of my garage in Plymouth, Minnesota. Started the company because I really wanted something that was, I think of it as actively passive income. You get this customer set up, yeah, and as long as you don't screw that up, you're going to keep coming back every 3 months. They're on the schedule, reoccurring uh, appointments and reoccurring payments. So you just have to show up. You have to do what you say you're going to do, and do a good job while you're doing that. So in the beginning, it was a huge challenge. No one Googles routine home maintenance. We're one of very few companies across the nation that offer the services that we do. But once people hear about it, they sign up, and that's what's gotten us to the 750 clients.
Nice. That's awesome. What's like a typical like recurring maintenance issue that you come across a lot with these homes?
Yeah, so of the 34 items that we are taking care of, there's a ton of filters that need to be cleaned. In the utility room, a water pad or that humidifier filter is a big one that's very frequently neglected. In newer homes, they're really airtight, and so in about 2016, they started installing air exchangers. That's really neglected. One time, a home inspector told me you could hide a dead body in there because no one ever cleans the three filters. Dishwasher filters, washing machine filters, the inside, that rubber gets seal on the inside of the washing machine there. And other than that, it's things that we're all maybe a little more familiar with, like dryer vent cleaning, AC unit cleaning. A lot of times they're really frustrated. Something's not working correctly, and they call the HVAC company out, and you get that service fee of 150, whatever it is, to come out. And they're like, well, when's the last time you changed your furnace filter? Because that's dirty again. And I was actually here last year at this time. And they're like, yeah, somehow 3 months turns into 6 months, turns into a year, and you're neglecting this routine maintenance. So those
Yep.
are probably some of the common. We find everything and anything. I mean, we've pulled out like 2 feet of hair from drains in showers, and almost every animal that could fit in an air duct or a dryer vent, we have found dead in
Yeah.
in there. So
Oh,
when
shit.
you, yeah, we last year we cleaned about 1.1 million air ducts in Minnesota. So we see a lot of stuff.
That's funny. Now, see, one of your main things on your website is fire hazards.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see typically that people should watch out for? Is there anything somebody can do to kind of negate those hazards?
Yeah, for sure. The number one thing for prevention is cleaning your dryer vent. That's just the number one thing. Secondly, is making sure you're changing your smoke alarm batteries on an annual basis. Third, your smoke alarm is rated to last for about 10 years. If you look up in your home and you see that your smoke alarm is turning yellow, it's probably 10 plus years old. So it's only designed to last about 10 years. And then after that, it's really wanting to plan. If there is a fire, what do you do? And I think that especially if you have a family with young kids, what's the plan here? Like, where do we meet? I've had conversations with homeowners. Like, not only do we have, I recommend placing a fire extinguisher underneath every sink in your home,
Hmm.
because that's easy. That's just going to click, right? I know it's a fire extinguisher underneath my sink. But also, like, where are you guys going to meet? If there's a fire in your home and it's 3 in the morning, where are you going to meet? And most fire departments recommend meeting in the front of your home so that, like, if they get there, they know like everyone's here. Don't go to the back of the home or go to the tree house, wherever it is. Everyone meet in the front of your home there. So those things of trying to prevent, then also being prepared if a fire does happen. There's a lot more like range hood fires, things like that are not nearly as common, but just being prepared that if a fire does happen, that you guys are going to react and be safe.
Sure. Hey, everyone. Hope you're enjoying this episode. Are you ready to maximize your real estate investing to its full potential? Join us at Level Up REI Coaching and take your life and business to all new levels.
Send an email to nick@leveluprecoach.com. That's Nick, N-I-C, at leveluprecoach.com.
Yeah, that makes total sense. All right, we get a lot of real estate investors on the show. So I guess one question would be, what type of preventative maintenance should somebody do in a rental? And then do you have like any services maybe that, you could help an investor, go in and pick stuff out or do, yearly inspections or whatever?
Yeah, most definitely. We have quite a few investors that use us. We change it a little bit because we're coming in there. We're knowing that, myself included, I own 2 homes down in Florida that are short-term rentals, so it's not quite as like a long-term rental. But most of the properties and the investors that we work with are doing long-term rentals. And in that case, we're coming in and just treating that as if it was our home and we were the owner or the landlord. And what would we want to know? Is there flushable wipes? Is there weeds we grow in the basement? Things like that we want to know, right? So we are taking a little bit of extra time to look around, but we're doing a lot of the basics to make sure that things, especially on the residential side, the furnace breaks down, it is the landlord's responsibility in every situation I've ever or lease that I've looked at. So making sure that we're getting that filter changed, we're cleaning that AC unit, we're cleaning the dryer vent. We're just doing some of these basic things so that you're not getting a call from a tenant over the weekend or nights, whatever. We're doing everything we can to prevent that as well. So we actually provide for all of our clients a 6-page report for their home. On the first page, it looks like a report card essentially of everything that we're going to do on the left, and then we check the box of when we do it for each quarter. And then on pages 2 through 6, we take a photo of everything. So we include a couple of extra notes for investors just so that they have that ease of mind. And if a tenant said, well, you're not maintaining my home or whatever might come up, they have that email to them after every appointment. Say, I actually have a photo of the filter being changed or things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is great documentation to have, if you ever have to use it in, court or something, if you're doing an eviction or whatever.
Yeah, most definitely.
Now, do you set up with a tenant? Will you schedule, like, say, here's the tenant's phone number, email. Will you schedule everything with them, or does the landlord do that, or how does that work?
Yeah, typically it ends up, it's easiest if the landlord just lets us schedule with the tenant and you say, hey, I want you to come out every 3 months or 6 months or annual, and here's a tenant schedule with them. Because, a lot of, I think tenants, if you're a landlord, if you're doing it correctly, in my opinion, you just, you let your investment make money for you, and you keep doing, I think one of the best advice I've ever been received is don't quit your day job, right? So you've got these investments, growing actively and passively on the side here, and you do you, right? And maybe that's spending more time with your family and doing your 9 to 5, but let us take care of that. So it's amazing, even if it's just on the residential side. And for a normal customer, we have some people that are like, I want you to text the wife, but email the husband the invoice. And so with our CRM system, we can work with just about anything.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. Now I also see you have the free property inspection. I guess what's included in that? Is that more for, single family residential, or what, how is that?
Yeah, the main point of that is just to go through and what that essentially is we're just coming in and we're going to show you everything that should be maintained. So here's an inspection of it's not like a home inspection that you get when you buy a new home where we're like, checking for a crack in the foundation or things like that. It's like a maintenance inspection for you. So we're going to go through and we're going to show you every single thing that needs to be maintained in your home, and we'll check that box for you. And then we give you that cheat sheet of this is what needs to be maintained and this is how frequently you need to do it. But most of the time, Andrew, when we do that, people are like, I'm just going to hire you guys because for $300 a quarter, $100 a month, which is less than my cable bill. I'm going to let you guys do it. And so that's a really nice way. But there are some people, we could let's stereotype a single person or a single woman, right, who's buying their first home, and they grew up in a daycare, not at home, or maybe their parents were really busy, never took care of the stuff, and they do want to maintain their home really well. Right. It's a really nice thing that, for us, we believe in giving back on several different ways, financially, volunteering your time. But that's just one thing that if this helps you become a better homeowner by us giving you that free inspection there, we're happy to do that.
Yeah, that's a nice service. Now, do you have, connections to the contractors you can refer? Like, say, maybe the hot water tank does need to be replaced. Do you guys don't do that? So do you have referrals or partners you can, sub out or help people with?
Yeah. So at this point, I go to a meeting once a week. That's a networking meeting. There's currently 94 people in that chapter there. That's very active. We send out referrals. I mean, a crazy amount of referrals for all this stuff because I think one thing that people like about us is that we're coming in and we actually want your home to stay running really efficient. We don't want things to break down because in your example, Andrew, if the water heater breaks down, we don't benefit from that. And we're not handyman. We don't have a hammer or a skill saw in our vehicles. So we do want things to run really efficiently. But yeah, we have a lot of referrals, a lot of handyman referrals. People think we're a handyman company. The guy that I give referrals to, I think I could keep him in business. Just me, if he could turn off all the marketing, give me a private phone number and I'll keep you busy.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's really nice. But a lot of referrals, and it's amazing the things that people ask for. And so by knowing how homes run and they are complex. And so being able to just answer questions for people and say, Susie, if I lived here, here's what I would do. And here's, two people that we trust to give them a call, but you can call whoever you want.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's a valuable service because, if I have a single family rental and I know the furnace has a year or two left, I can start adding to my, monthly reserves to plan to pay for that down the road instead of just, 1 month. Oh, you got to come up with a couple of grand, to replace the furnace. Right. And that's what it is. And, it's all cash flow in investing. Sure. So I think that helps 100%. A lot. Now, getting into the other side of the business, you have franchise opportunities now. Correct, right? Maybe you can go into detail on that and what that entails.
Yeah, we do. We started offering franchises in late last year just because as people get to know us through social media or whatever it may be, we were getting to the point where it's almost once a week people were contacting us and asking if they could pay us to come hang out and learn how to run the routine maintenance. I'll try to make it sound like a humble brag, but I believe we're the largest routine maintenance company in the nation at 750 clients. I know a few other guys that have about 160 and 200, but I believe that we are the largest. And so people want to know, hey, what are you guys doing differently than other people? So, and with that, you don't want to just give it away because we have expanded into other markets and we've learned that when we expand with an owner or a corporate owned location and we just have a technician or a manager there, they don't have enough skin in the game to really go all in. And for us wanting to grow quickly and efficiently and keep our quality up, ultimately franchising ended up being the best decision. So we do offer franchises. We're about 99% of the way closing in the market down in Florida. And but yeah, if anyone was interested in buying a franchise, I think it's a great opportunity. Obviously, I think it's great because I'm offering it, but it's pretty, I think, a fair price to get in. It's $45,000 to buy in. And that gives you access to every single thing that we have, which is a 600-page manual. We're hanging out, you're getting to know us, and we're spending 2 weeks together, and you have unlimited access. There's no secrets behind. So you have someone that, hey, here's a roadmap to get from A to where we are, and here's how we did it, and here's how you do everything. So besides that $45,000 buy-in, you need a vehicle and then about $7,000 worth of equipment. And then from there, we send you home, and so by the time you pay that and then you do 2 weeks of training, you're ready to service your first client when you get back home.
Okay. Is it more self own and operated, or what's your goal to have somebody eventually just hire people under them and run that, or how do you propose that?
Yeah. I think the ultimate goal is for sure you're looking at someone who's growth minded and they're wanting to get people working below them. In a perfect world, you're not selling your franchise to someone who just wants to own their own job. They're not just coming to teach me how to clean air ducts so I can personally go clean air ducts. Now, in the very beginning, we could, if you wanted to hire a technician and send that person up and train them, and we can do that too. But in the very beginning, I would recommend spending about 2 to 3 months out in the field training in your first guy. And then what I did, that took me about 2 years because it was slower, but you should spend about 2 to 3 months. Then you get him going really well. Then you hire another guy and you put him with that, and you just keep on playing that game of growing that. But in a perfect world, you have an owner, and not an owner operator, but he's not out there cleaning air ducts or doing the routine maintenance. He's out there building the business, working on a relationship, he or she, and they're taking care of those items. So it's someone, the perfect person for us, I believe, is it's someone who sees the value in recurring subscription services. Yep. They see a company that they want to build to sell. It might be in 5 to 15 years, and maybe they're 30 and they're wanting to sell when they're 65. But we have a lot of people that they went to college, they're in their mid-20s, and they've realized that they don't want to sit at a desk all day. And then we have a lot of people inquiring that are 45 or 50, and they're looking at, hey, I want to retire when I'm 60, 65. I'm going to start this company. I own it. Let's say it's Andrews LLC. and you have a DBA, Kura Home, and now you own that. And so if you get to 750, 1,000 recurring clients, that the valuation of those recurring clients is
Right.
going to be a lot higher than the one-time service industry.
Yeah. Yep. That makes total sense. Now, what's something growing this business, maybe you've had something not go right, or and I'm sure something has happened, and what have you learned,
Yeah.
from that experience, I guess, that you could share?
Yeah, I'd say in the very beginning, we just learned a lot of things about having the right systems and the right processes in place. But that has had a lot of little, like, when we had 11 clients, for example, I just had like written down all the services they had selected. Okay, well now we have 750. They're all saved in a drive up in the cloud, and everything's accessible. And it's just we can right now we pull on 5 to 7 new clients a week, and you don't even feel it. It's zero stress. Where
Yeah.
year one it was like, oh my gosh, somehow I got to remember all this stuff. So you create systems and processes. But I would say the largest thing that I've really learned is in 2021, we, knowing that no one really Googles routine home maintenance, but a lot of people Google handyman. So we should start a handyman company. We should run it like a business. And so we went down that venture. We started in February. I sent out one newsletter, instantly booked out the one handyman I had hired. He was booked out like 4 or 6 weeks.
Wow.
I hired another one, then another one, then another one. And by November, I think we had like 15 handyman working between a few of our locations, and we were just hemorrhaging money. And I tried like every different way that you can possibly like run a project, like commission, a base fee, hourly, like all the things that you can think to pay these guys. And we just couldn't make money on the handyman services. So looking back, it's really important to know that craftsmanship is not scalable. I wish I had read previously the Pumpkin Plan book, but I wish I would have read it again before starting that, because you should really focus on, I think when you get something going really, really smoothly, keep focusing and keep minding your business, keep nurturing that. And the handyman was a pretty big distraction for us, but ultimately I'm thankful that we had enough people speaking wisdom into the company to say, hey, it's probably it's going to take too long to make money on this. And Andrew, if you and I both said real quick, write down 10 things a handyman does, our list would probably be, 20
Totally
different items
different
on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So craftsmanship is really hard to scale. So that's probably the largest failure that we had. I think we tried to be too much to too many people. At the end of the day, we got to really focus on your core service. And I think the best example of that is I've always been interested why the guys who install sheetrock don't tape in mud. And I'm like, that you would think that'd be so obvious, like just go tape mud, but it's two completely different skill sets. And they're actually very smart people for not doing both services, because they know they can probably do one or the other really well, but not both. So
that's a great point. Actually, I had a maintenance guy that would hang drywall and he hated mudding it. We have to have somebody else come in and do it. Yeah, it's funny how that works. What are some daily habits that you have, to kind of help to your success and just kind of keep you, focused?
Yeah, for sure. One thing, my one and only goal this year was to listen to 52 audiobooks. I am 1 week behind, mostly because I have a 4-week-old now at home. So,
congratulations!
Yeah, thank you. And a 2-year-old. So I'm 1 week behind, but I know I'm going to get caught back up, and that's just been really awesome to be pulling in that. With that is kind of a cheat code of just accelerating that speed over time. You start at 1.2, then 1.3, and I actually got a 2.0. So I was listening to like a 10-hour book in 5 hours.
Nice. Wow.
Well, then. Yeah, that got too fast. So I actually dialed it back, and enough people would get in my vehicle, and they're like, "What is going on in here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." So, but besides that, Andrew, I think my core thing that is just like one of my number one rules is I just don't miss dinner with my family, and so keeping home based. If you think of your life as like a structure, like my family is the base, and without them, a lot of these things that I'm doing, I don't think I would be nearly as motivated to do them. And so keeping home, everything's keeping the wife, happy life, and spending time with my kids and all that thing is really important to me. But my alarm goes off at 4:58 every day, because I know it takes me 7 minutes to get out the door to go to the gym. So I hit the gym 5:15. Love listening to audiobooks. Sometimes I get into crazy stuff like taking the cold showers and things like that. But I'm currently training for my second Ironman. That'll be in Coeur d'Alene in June.
Nice.
And so kind of getting ready for that, both mentally and physically. So just little things that to keep challenging yourself, keep pushing yourself, and stay out of your comfort zone.
Now you're doing the full Ironman?
Yeah, it will be another full Ironman. Yeah, the 140 miles. So that's
impressive, man.
Thank you. It makes me feel like I'm a little crazy, but it really I don't know. It's really fun. It's really rewarding. I did one several years ago in Madison, Wisconsin, and man, it was one of the most incredible experiences. And until you do that, and I mean, you literally run across red carpet. I mean, it's just an incredible experience. And I, if you would have asked me when I was like 16, 17, I couldn't run more than a few miles because my legs would hurt so bad. And then I kind of figured out that I can run a 10K, and then I ran a half marathon, and I'm like, I think I can actually do this. And so you just keep on pushing and you keep on learning. And it's, there's a lot of things that when you're training for an Ironman that really relate to, real life things of growing a business or growing that real estate portfolio or whatever it is that it's like, well, if I can do that, I can do this. And you just keep on going.
Was there any point in that race where you kind of thought you might want to quit, or were you pretty,
Yeah. In Madison, Wisconsin well, the bike ride is you're doing 100. So I was a swimmer through high school and a little bit into college. So that's really easy for me. But even in that, at that time, they did a mass start. So you've got 3,000 swimmers. And there was a point where I was actually like crammed in between 4 swimmers. And I'm like, you can't go up or down. And the guy behind me was like coming up on my butt. I'm like, you're going to trample me over. And I know there's 2,000 people behind you. But the bike was pretty smooth for me. That's pretty easy on your body. You're just doing that. You eat like 5 Cliff Bars, a couple bananas, all these goo packets. But on mile 18 of that run, I was literally in tears because you start at 7 a.m. It's now like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You just want like a meal. And you're going, and there's a hill at mile 18, and I was pushing my legs. You're pushing your knees down to try and get up that hill. Yeah. And my brother-in-law came up next to me, and he's a good guy. He's a family man, Christian guy, and the words that I heard come out of his mouth, I was like shocked. He was like, F this, F that, and you get into the woods and you start splitting wood and you chop out of this. Like he was just like boom, 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 boom.
That's awesome.
I got into a better headspace so I finished the race and it was, but there was a moment where I was legitimately as a grown man crying, and that's, if you want to talk about a low spot, that probably be
right. Yeah. That's funny, but I can see how that translates into business too. Just keep pushing forward. No matter what.
Yep, most definitely.
Now, if you could go back to your 18-year-old self, is there anything either life advice in general or business advice that you would give him?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I struggled with then is just like believing in myself that like, and I think for me, like academically, school was challenging. It was hard to get like C's and B's, and I feel like I had to work really hard, and I saw people barely doing anything that would be on the A honor roll. And so then you kind of, I think that, like our society or the school system might tell you like you're not as smart, but man, what I think I would really tell you is like effort is worth $1 million. I mean, showing up on these things you can control, right? Showing up on time, the amount of effort you put in, listening to audiobooks. Like I listened to audiobook that that's way better than an entire semester of college that I just listened to in 4 days. Exactly. And so, there's so many resources out there. So I think I'd want to boost his confidence and say like, hey, you can do anything you decide to do if you're willing to put in the time and the effort. Like you can be anyone you want to be, and you don't have to be a honor roll student or go to the best, college in the world to be that person. You can do whatever you want if you want to work hard.
Yep. That's great advice. I agree. Now we've got one more question, then we'll get into our 5 to Thrive. So if you could pick one thing for the audience to kind of absorb that you really want them to take home, what advice would that be, you think?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to stay diligent and stay patient in what you're doing, whether that be investing in the stock market, in real estate, right? Like don't give up and don't get freaked out when there's shortcomings, right? Like I said, I own 2 short-term rentals in Cape Coral. Currently still don't have power. I mean, so, but we had a bunch of people cancel but now all these contractors are scheduling and to not freak out about the little things, but you look at compounding interest, write down your goals and stay diligent and stay consistent and share your goals with others so that when they see you, next year or in a few months, they ask you, hey, Andrew, how's house number 3 or how's house number 4 going for you? And you can say it's going really well. Here's my struggles, but I'm doing it. So it's nothing, there's very few people that have made it with like small, short-term little investments, but you play the long game and you start planning 5, 10, 15, 20 years out and it's worth it. Like stay the path. Yeah.
I like the quote. I think it's humans overestimate what they can do in a year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years. And it's totally true,
Yeah, for sure.
Just curious, did you have any damage from the storm there in Cape Coral?
We lost the fence and our mailbox, but almost immediately, which is whatever, a couple grand, and we'll figure that out. But almost immediately we had a electric, they're like a telecommunications company, sent us a message through Airbnb, and they're like, is your house available? And we're like, yep, but there's no water or no electricity at this time. And we actually got like 7 or 8 messages that day, and they're like, we don't care, we'll book it. So
really?
They booked,
Wow.
They booked immediately, and so they've been great guests for so far, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna clean up the backyard for you, and so it's just amazing. It's cool. It's unfortunate. I think a lot of people have lost a lot of property and memories and future memories too in that area, but it's amazing to see just through social media and our contacts down there how the community has come together. So
yeah, that's true. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Now, how can people, what's the best way to reach out to you, either for a franchise opportunity or just, if they want to use your services in general?
Yeah, our website is kurahome.com. It's Kura home.com. If you want to get connected with me personally, I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. I'm not always posting, but I promise I'm there scrolling in the background. But follow us on social media too. We've got several. We post a couple times a day. We're always trying to educate people on how to be better homeowners, and we're doing all the things. We're doing the TikTok dances and all that dumb stuff too. So follow us on there, and you might learn a thing or two about maintaining your home.
Nice. So now we're at our 5 to Thrive. So this is just a basic, word association game. Sure. So I'll list off 5 words and just give me the first word or phrase that comes to your mind. The only thing is you can't repeat the same answer.
All right. Sounds good.
Right? Okay. So the first one, routine maintenance.
Long term.
Business ownership.
Challenging.
Yeah. Cash flow.
Positive.
Customer service.
Never ending.
And Kura Home maintenance.
Did I already say longevity? I want to say longevity.
No, you didn't say that one. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to say longevity.
I like it. Cool. Well, hey, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. I really appreciate you, taking the time out.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. It's great to be here.